Hi, sorry, I'm coughing. Today, today is January 31. Okay, I made mention about corporate theft by prior videos, especially among stockholders. That steal from each other. I may even mention about that forensic accounting that we did. Okay, the company is a construction company that kind of like operated for 10 years, and on the 11th year, the company died because practically the stockholders were stealing from each other. Okay, corporate theft. So corporate theft, I discussed also about a company in Makati that kind of like disadvantage the other stockholder. Okay, there were only two capitalist stockholders actually, and all the other stockholders, the three of them, were actually dummies. Okay, this is teacher Felbert. 14 years old, and I'm a teacher, an artist, filmmaker. I freelance as internal and external auditor, and I can like do some works also in forensic accounting. Okay, so today, at this very hour, I'll discuss about corporate theft on withholding taxes. Okay, what are withholding taxes? These are uh, well, taxes on compensation, withholding taxes among suppliers, and third party outside services, withholding taxes on rent, on of equipment, and all other things. Okay, because this has been, quite very uh, sort of aside from the usual corporate theft that companies are actually doing, the employees are actually disadvantaged of this, or the suppliers for that matter. Okay, so I just want to clarify that the very documents, okay, that's being that will support withholding taxes. For example, like withholding taxes on services, professional fees. Okay, so every time a client or a corporation is gonna withhold taxes from you guys, okay, you always have to obtain 2307. Okay, so it's a reminder all the time, okay, that before you get your check that's being netted already by the withhold taxes that are withheld by the company, you make sure that you get the 2307, because it's an advanced income tax for that matter, so that when the company or your client is not going to give you the 2307, and well, they withhold taxes, they can always not report that to BIR. Okay, so it means you have been withheld taxes, but they don't actually remit them to BIR. So for that matter, they actually steal that money from you because they do not return the withholding taxes to you guys. Okay, so every time, okay, for everybody, especially with my tax clients who are artists. Okay, when you work, for example, in a client, and all other corporate accounts that I have had, in the event that you are given a payment for a particular service, you should ask for a 2307. Okay, if you have been withheld taxes. Okay, because even if companies actually issue 2307 for that matter in exchange of the withholding taxes that they withheld, sometimes they kind of like make tago of that. Sometimes they do not actually report that to BIRs. Okay, so you are disadvantaged for that matter. Okay, and since it's not a material amount or significant amount, sometimes the company is just safe enough because anyway you don't get audited. Okay, you as a taxpayer need to get audited, and sometimes the company is confident they cannot be audited as well because compliances for that matter, in as much as well as doing or having like a letter of authority, okay, that will progress as a tax case. So there, so it's a caveat, okay? So for everybody, all my artist clients and everything, everybody or my professional, tax clients or professionals who do freelancing works and other corporate accounts, you make sure that you obtain a 2307 every time you are withheld taxes, because that's your evidence or that's your proof that you have been withheld taxes. Because most of the time, okay, like 60% or maybe 70%, those companies that withheld taxes or those clients that withheld taxes do not remit to the BIR. Okay, so what can you do that? How can you like actually perceive them to, yeah, for a particular taxable year and then the next taxable year? Okay, so they make knockout of that money. Okay, sometimes these are inculcated and these are made knockout by the accountants. Okay, the accountants kind of like, you know, especially with accountants that have like that are signatories of the checks, for example, and they do not need to be stockholders or officers to like review what they're actually doing as far as accounting is concerned. Okay, so that, so this is very crucial, you know. And I heard about government entities that are non-profits. Okay, and these are non-profits, even construction companies that have been withheld by massive withholding taxes, okay, or that withheld massive amount of withholding taxes, okay, they kind of like not remit them to BIR, and then when it gets audited, like after 2 years or 3 years, that they receive like a letter of authority, it means that they receive a notice from BIR to get audited, like it's letter of authority. It's a law, it's a tax case per se. Okay, so that's when the time the company or a particular company, in a construction company, for example, that's the time when they can dispute on that. Okay, you see, they have withheld taxes already, but after 3 years or 5 years, or if they do not receive like a lower, for example, okay, so the withholding taxes that have not been paid become, you know, their revenues. Okay, and they do not declare them at the same time. So for you guys, for individuals or for freelancers that have been withheld taxes, so make sure you get 2307, okay, because this is your evidence that you are withheld of taxes, and this is a deduction actually of your tax due or net income tax due towards the end of the year. Okay, I know of construction companies and other companies for that matter that are stock corporations, okay, and non-profits. Okay, there are so many non-profits that are doing this. They withhold taxes. They withhold taxes from suppliers, from outside services, from professionals that engage in like professional work with a particular non-profit, for example, which is under a government umbrella. They withhold taxes, but they do not remit them to the BIR. Okay, okay. When I say non-profits, these are corporations that have been registered as non-stock non-profits. Okay, because for mandatory withholding taxes, these non-profits are supposed to be complying. Okay, that's why they withhold taxes. Okay, non-profits are to be clear, non-profits are exempt from VAT or percentage tax, for example. This is what we call sales tax and income tax, but they do not, or they are not exempted with withholding taxes. Okay, they should withhold taxes for rent. They should withhold taxes for like a third party outside services and all those other professionals that engage in a service to them, but they kind of like withhold taxes. However, they do not issue 2307 at the same time. But however, they withhold taxes and they do not remit to the BIR. So what do they do with the money? Okay, so how can we perceive them? Okay, so it's like a corporate theft, all right? And I know of a construction company, a massive withholding taxes on with various entities. Like for example, when you are a construction company and you work closely with DPWH, Okay, so there are supposedly withholding taxes that are well, every time you actually collect from DPWH, or you actually offer services to what you call this to other companies, you should withhold taxes supposedly. Yeah, and you actually did withhold, but you don't actually remit them, and if they are not actually detected, or they are not actually covered in letter of authority, for example, that's when the time that it's other sources of revenue, but actually since these are not like receipted, for example, they do not form part of the revenues that have been declared to the BIR. All right. So there. Let's be careful, you guys that work in different institutions, especially freelancers, for example, and especially those that work with non-profits, okay, under government umbrella, okay, they kind of withhold taxes, but they do not issue 2307, and you are not actually advised to issue official receipts for the matter, yet they kind of like withhold taxes, okay, because they're supposed to be doing that because they are withholding agent, but they do not remit the withholding taxes to BAN, and it kind of like accumulated already, like for like 10 years. I know of companies or non-profits that do not remit withholding taxes for like 20 years already. Okay, so what do they do with the money? Okay, so I hope the money that are sources from withhold taxes are reimbursed or are returned to the individuals, the freelancers that work with them. Okay, but they did not, and they do not. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe they make hati-hati of whatever the revenue or sources of revenue. I don't know. I can understand. Okay. What I'm saying is because employees are disadvantaged, or people that work for you guys are disadvantaged. Okay. So you guys should do something for that. Okay. You should. Well, yeah, non-profits. Yeah, I have to tell you this because non-profits are very comfortable with it because they don't get audited with BIR. They don't have like LOA, for example, regularly that comes to their offices. Okay, yeah, because BIR examiners do not make money out of that. Okay, so we have to like individuals that have been withheld taxes, especially with non-profits. Now, non-profits, yeah, that kind of like under the umbrella of the government institution, or the government under the umbrella of the government. The umbrella of under the umbrella of the government. Okay, so they withhold taxes. They don't issue the 237. They do not require individuals or freelancers to issue official receipts. Also, I don't know what do they do with the money that that have been withheld. Okay, so it's been like 20 years. I know of that. I heard a lot of things about that. Okay, and construction company that's very flourishing, withhold taxes from a lot of people, a lot of third party sources and outside services, but they don't actually remit withhold taxes also, and sometimes they progress into part of the letter of authority, which is a tax case. Okay, but sometimes when laws are not served on that particular year, then the taxes that have been withheld kind of like go to their kaban, okay, that corporate account particularly, but they are not declared as part of the revenues that are declared to BIR. Okay, so there, we have to be aware of that. Okay, you guys that I handle, that I'm really trying to actually tell you that every time you work with a particular client, for example, you always ask for a 2307. Okay, do not wait that the check has been already picked up or issued to you guys or given to you guys, but you actually wait for the 2307 to come. Okay, so make sure that the 2307 is accompanied in the check. Okay, so there. Yeah, this is Teacher Felbert again. A opportunity to a freelance as internal, external auditor, and like I'm a teacher, an artist, filmmaker. Okay, so there. Good afternoon. Okay, this is January. Today is January 31, and tomorrow is February 1. Okay, my interns are gonna come tomorrow. All the three of them. Okay, so masilang, I have to see you yet. I don't know for whatever reason I kind of like apply the BPO. The first time, yeah, I don't know. I can't hear it clearly. Yeah, that's the one aspect that I did not pass, but others I passed. And the second time that I did a retake, I know the proctor, actually the one responsible in the facilitation of the exam, did tell me that I passed. And then a couple of hours later, she called my attention that I did not pass. I don't know, whatever reason. Well, I'm good with that. Anyway, because like 10 years ago, maybe I did apply. I was even like, did already kind of like medical checkup and all that, but I did not show up. Okay. So yeah, and I reasoned I went home. Actually, I did not go home during that time. So, well, I got served or whatever that I did to them also. So there, yeah, I yet have to see you, Kubao. Maybe tomorrow, okay? So I love you, Kubao. Miss you. Bye bye.